Okay. What do fossil fuels, water preservation, religion, minorities, and clean energy and war all have in common? Answer. They cause wars the world over, together with food shortages, or at least really misdirection of food resources the world over. And bad framing that really does fuel bigotry is right now what is causing both the conflict in the Middle East in terms of Israel, the country that was founded in terms of by the UN most recently as the place for Jewish refugees to flee from the Holocaust after being released, and is now a pluralistic democratic society. Granted, I'm not so sure how completely democratic in terms of election integrity Netanyahu was put in, but that beside the point. It is a pluralistic, it is a primarily democratic country. It is the only one in that region that even is trying truly for it. It is also a country that is about the same size geographically and shape of New Jersey. So when defensible borders are spoken of, military defense with, again, think New Jersey. And multiple maps will show what I'm talking about. And when it comes to that same thing, many people are right now in the United States fighting correctly, and I might very well be putting more donations into this soon, into fighting the Dakota Access Pipeline. I was fighting for a while with the Keystone Pipeline, closer to my home. I've been a long time advocate for closing down Indian Point nuclear power plant because, again, it's filthy energy. It's killing people, albeit slowly in terms of poisoning. And all of that, water shortages, not much clean water. Israel is a desert. The Dakotas are mostly a desert. Both areas are a lot farming. Granted, though, there's a whole lot more people living in Israel and in the Middle East than there are in the Dakotas. And there's also a whole lot more land area, so it's more of a dense versus sparsely populated construct. So that's a bigger difference, actually, than even the concept of militarization. But we're both talking about mainly minority groups being affected, mainly different cultures than would, at least in the majority of this country, be considered norm. Both are dividing lines that are really, really false. Everyone on this planet wants clean water, clean and safe food, reasonable transportation, reasonable access to medical care, and to have their culture be allowed to survive and safety. But the problem is that there's a small group of people that they already have that. They already have a lot of money. So now what they're doing is, in order to keep score, they're compiling and gathering and controlling things that'll make them a whole lot of money, and which includes access to a lot of petroleum reserves, fossil fuels, a whole lot of weapons, okay, that can be spread amongst people that are fighting over resources, who in their desperation to gather those resources, will do extraordinary things, deadly things, evil things in some cases, to get what they feel will meet their basic needs. And just at times some Spartan rogue elements that will be misguided in terms of people. But again, our buttons are being pushed, guys. And people have to understand that when they put out stuff like Israel should be taken off the map, or how dare in terms of Google Maps, I've seen the petition, I revile it. There's a reason that the modern state of Israel was founded. It was refugees, it was in response to the Holocaust, it was to try to create safety for a huge number of people. My own family fled from Belarus and neighboring Poland between about 80 and 120 years ago, roughly now, and because they kind of saw to some degree what was coming. And no, I don't really speak much of any Yiddish. Forget about the Belarusian nor Polish. Wish I knew them. One day I hope to learn. I know more words of just plain Hebrew. But again, everyone, and in the case of the Dakotas, we're talking about indigenous personnel. We're talking about the Lakota. They're talking about many other tribes that are fighting. They're impoverished. They need help. They very much live off of the land directly, as do actually many Israelis, farming, small scale, close-knit communities, close-knit family ties. That's what they share culturally, and of course, again, both of them are basically desert dwellers, so living in harsh environments. So they actually share more than they differ. Again, totally different labels, but very much the same. And that's why I hate this concept of division. It hurts. Two common words you'll hear me use. L'chaim means to life. Shalom means peace. I want life and luck. L'chaim. I want peace, which also means good morning, good night. In addition to the much common name of meaning of peace. Again, these are things that I want. I understand, as someone who fairly recently left the homeless shelter system with my husband, the concept of at times feeling really desperate. I do. I understand the concept of going for more than a day or two without food. Basically, piece of bread and like a couple pieces of this bread this big, which we're talking about 2.5, 3 inches, circle, and a little bit of butter. Sometimes that's been my food for every day for about 3-4 days. So I wouldn't exactly call that wealthy standard of living. And water or juice, and that's been it. One of those joke of the thing that you get in kindergarten. Sometimes that's all I've had for 3-4 days running. In part to preserve my culture, and in part sometimes that's all I've been able to get. So I get the concept of living in poverty. I get the concept of feeling like you're desperate. But at the same time, I also understand it's very important to push beyond that. We are a world society that primarily all want the same things. We want clean, safe water. We want clean, healthy, safe food. We want safe shelter. We want our cultures preserved, whatever they are, together with our communities. family. Okay? So it's all connected. Please stop saying and making false comparisons, saying we give money to Israel and we don't fund this other one, this wonderful program here. So if we can do that for Israel, then we can. No, it's completely false. All of you that are doing this, you're better than that. You have more heart than that. You have more brains than that. You're more perceptive than that. You've shown that to me already. Every single person that I've seen posts like this from, you've all shown me you're better, you're bigger, you're smarter, you're more caring than that. So, please, stop. Look at what you're writing. We're funding the United States in terms of the we. Okay, the government that is something that many of us are fighting against right now. We're funding all sides of the conflict within the Middle East. Every single country. Most of them are a whole lot bigger than Israel. Okay, like the only one that we're not, that's a similar size, we're really not giving any money to, and that's Qatar. Every other country, they're bigger, they're stronger, they have more people, they have more resources. Israel's the only one of them that doesn't have any oil. So we're fighting the only green country, the only one that's running on mostly sustainable energy. That's the only one that again, most people that are doing this, they're supporters of green energy. So they're pointing out, again, and I don't think they realize it, they're pointing out the one country the tiniest country, the country with the most minorities, the country with the only thing that's close to a full-on pluralistic democratic society like the United States is striving to be. And they're making them out to be the demon. The bad ones. Sorry. I'm not saying I love the leaders of Israel right now. I'm not saying I'm in love with Bibi Netanyahu. Not. Okay, not. Especially a lot of the policies. Don't agree with them. But at the same time, to say Israel doesn't belong on a map, or Israel, or all Israelis, or all, and most of the time they assume that they're all Jews, or they're actually not. There's a whole lot of Muslims, Jews, the nomadic peoples as well, that are high-ranking military officials there. And again, Muslims are equal citizens. Christians are equal citizens. They're all voting eligible. They're all fully participating. And not to say it's perfect, it ain't. But they're maybe even a little bit better in terms of closeness to democratic ideals and pluralism than the United States right now is. So, to say that they're evil, you're unknowingly being a bigot. Stop being a bigot. Stop the divisions. You're better than that. Every single one of you. You're smarter. You're more caring. You're better. L'chaim. To life. It means to life. L'chaim. Shalom. Peace. May we all find and survive in both. A life of peace. Hope we can at least agree on that last one. And yes, there are so many ways that we can band together for it.